Good day, my name is Michael Johnson. Thank you for your time allowing me to present fair tax to your organization. I'm prepared to show you the fair tax liability compared to your current tax liability. Now, who's excited for the upcoming 2012 tax season? Well, I'm not. Even if I have a big refund coming, I'm not too excited about all the paperwork involved and the filing and all of that. It's not too fun. Well, what if I told you you could eliminate the income tax season altogether and pay your taxes in a more fair, better way? Well, that's what the fair tax proposal is all about. Fair tax would be a national retail sales tax. At the retail and service level, it would be collected. This would replace all of your income tax, your corporate tax, your gift tax, your investment taxes, and replace that with a roughly 30% national sales tax. This would be revenue neutral, so it would collect the same amount for the federal government that it currently collects in its current systems. That way, all the funding is still there for your Social Security and Medicare and all the other federal spending. The system for fair tax would also require a prebate be given to all households to cover the amount of tax that would be spent on the necessities up to the poverty level. That way, this is a progressive system rather than regressive. Fair tax would also abolish the IRS and eliminate that overhead. In essence, this would be a consumption tax. It would work by including that national tax in the price on the sticker of your services and products that you would buy. The raw materials to make that product would not be taxed. So it's only going to be taxed once on the finished product. This could easily be administered by the current local and state tax collection agencies. That way, eliminating the current overhead. There has been fair tax legislation proposed many times in the past. These legislations have been unsuccessful because they have not appealed to a majority of the population. They have been more complicated than they should be, and that's why we need your input to make them truly a fair and progressive tax. Now, that prebate I was talking about for a house of four would be approximately $500 per month. $6,000 a year to cover those taxes that would be included on all the necessities up to the poverty level. This is actually a savings of the current tax break system of the corporate and income tax breaks. This would save approximately $456 billion. The fair tax, in essence, would spread the tax liability among more people. That way, it can be more fair and even. Let's talk specifically about the corporate effect. On your corporation, your current tax liability for the federal government is about $14 million per year. Under the fair tax, that would end up being only $5.75 million per year. You would minus the $5 million employer taxes, $8.75 million in federal taxes, adding on about the $5.75 million in fair tax on what you spend on your equipment and supplies and operating costs, but not your raw materials. You would also save about $1 million in compliance costs over the current system, which puts another $9 million on your bottom line for your company to grow and invest in its future. The effect on your typical employee, if they have a dual income family, is going to be similar. The current liability for a family of four with $100,000 gross income is about $20,000. Under the fair tax, that would only be about $9,000. If you give them back the $10,000 employee taxes, $10,000 in federal taxes, and the prebate of $6,000, that's where you would end up having $11,000 more dollars for them to save and invest in their families in the future. I know if I had that with my family, I could do a lot to invest in our future. Let's talk about the products that you currently have out there right now. Your most popular product selling for $100. Under the fair tax, your cost of production would drop at least by 10%, maybe more. So that would be, you could offer that at $90. And if you added on the fair tax on top of that, would be $27, and the final price, new price, would be $117. That $27 would be collected by the retail level and submitted by them. This is just an example to show you how it would affect your consumer's final sale price. The cost of complying, like I said, for your company is $1 million, but overall in the country, the cost of complying with the IRS is about $265 billion per year. That comes out to be about 22 cents on the dollar for every dollar that we are collected. The 67,000 pages plus of complex tax code the IRS doesn't allow for a simple tax collection procedure. Well, the fair tax, in its simplicity, allows for that simple system. This is the fair tax's most attractive feature. We have to be careful, though, because some proposals have included reforms on Medicare, Social Security, health care, and this only serves to complicate fair tax reform. We need to be sure any future fair tax proposals don't include any other types of reform. Currently, 7 states don't have income tax. These states have proven that it's possible and is a good way to collect your taxes by other ways to promote the economic growth of the state. These states can be used as a model for the federal fair tax system to be implemented, and I believe that other states would follow suit with those states and the government, federal government, with the fair tax system as well. Our U.S. and global economies stand to benefit the most from a fair tax system. It would put our exports on a level playing field with our foreign competitors. It would allow investors and companies to move those jobs back home, not being taxed employer taxes and corporate taxes, creating a jump in our economy, bringing all those jobs back and bringing all that money back home, would make the U.S. once again the most desirable country to invest in the world. The deficit spending is over $15 trillion now. As you can imagine, that has a huge effect on our economy. According to Reinhardt and Rogoff, it's cutting the growth of our economy in half. You can see how the interest alone that we're paying is 15 cents on every dollar of tax that we pay. The only way to cut the deficit is to grow our economy by leaps and bounds. The only way to grow our economy by leaps and bounds is by tax reform. Despite the best efforts of our national leaders, artificial stimulus has not worked to grow our economy. The only thing that's going to work is tax reform. And fair tax has been the best proposal I've seen that would allow for expansion of our economy to get us back on the right track. Well, now that I have your undivided attention, I do look forward to speaking to you and your team in person at your convenience. In the meantime, I do suggest that you go check out these resources at fairtax.org to research more about it, as well as the U.S. Debt Clock and the Tax Foundation to find out more about our current tax system. You will find that there are many people who don't agree with the fair tax as have been proposed in the past. However, we need progressive thinkers and organizations such as yourselves in order to make a future fair tax proposal agreeable and attractive and fair to a majority of the population. Until then, Happy New Year.
Good job.